Hi guys, welcome to the F1 Debate Show. My name is LC.
My name is JT.
And welcome to the 2016 Canadian Grand Prix preview. Now, Canada was round 7 of the 2016 Formula 1 season. It's the only non-European race to be held within the European races of the season. It was first held in 1978 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The course length is 4.3 kilometres in length and 70 laps are ran, which were estimated around 305 kilometres. The lap record was set in 2004 by Rubens Barrichello at a time of 1:13. And we're going to talk about what we think will happen in this weekend's race, the 2016 Canadian Grand Prix. Now, the race in Monaco, the race beforehand in Europe, in the Principality that everyone wants to win, was won by Lewis Hamilton, his first win this season. And the question is that we're going to ask is it hammer time? Because his first win at round 6 of the season. Now, as you know, the first 4 races were dominated by his teammate Nico Rosberg. Round 5 was won by 18-year-old Max Verstappen, and then round 6 was almost like a saving grace for him because he didn't want to come this far and not win one, especially knowing that he's the reigning world champion. And yeah, he's going for 3 consecutive world championships, his 4th world championship, and he wanted to be higher than this. Even though in 2012 he won at this race, making it 7 different winners, and I'd say round 7, and he was still a championship contender. But Lewis must be incredibly happy to be coming into this race to have won a race at round 6, so he's a race winner, thankfully. He's second in the World Championship at 82 points, so he is 24 points behind Nico Rosberg, his teammate. And yeah, is it hammer time? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Me personally, yes, I'd like to think he's on there. He's going to win, he's going to dominate. JT, what do you think? Is it hammer time?
It is definitely hammer time, I would say. I think winning in Monaco is going to give a big boost for Hamilton this season. He's going to right, I've got the belief now, you know what I mean? Rosberg was a bit nervous, so he's going to go probably into this race and the next couple of races up until the British Grand Prix in very, very good form. So if I were Nico Rosberg, I would be very scared right now, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, he has got a good lead, and he dominated the first few races. His reign came to blows as he collided with Lewis in Spain. So they'll be definitely squabbling out on this very fast track. Lewis loves this track. He won in 2007, his first win in Formula 1. He ran really well at this track, winning also in 2012. Making it 7 different winners in 7 different races. His last win at Canada with McLaren. So he loves this track. He loves running the track, and for some reason Lewis loves the Americas better than the Europes and the Britons that he's from. But so yeah, running well. But he's definitely got everyone else to look forward to. Like what's the word? Like be worried for people like on the grid, obviously Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and his teammate Nico Rosberg.
Indeed, I mean, Nico will be coming into this race from a very, very disappointing Monaco Grand Prix. He said he was nervous, or he looked nervous. The car wasn't right. And he definitely underperformed, and obviously more controversially, he let his teammate through, which then obviously people spectating, has Rosberg just thrown away the championship? Was that the right move? It's been in the media all week, and me personally, was it the right decision? I mean, probably. I mean, in Hamilton's favour, definitely, but this is a massive blow for Nico Rosberg, and also he got overtaken on literally the last second of the race by Nico Hulkenberg. So he's going to come into this race in a very not as big form as what Lewis Hamilton would be. I mean, Nico Rosberg, ever since Mercedes started dominating the season, since 2014, he's came second in the past 2 seasons. So he's never even won this race because his first race win was in 2012, and it took Mercedes quite some time to actually start dominating. So this is a track that Rosberg will feel like, right, maybe it is time to win eventually at this circuit. Obviously, it's a track that Hamilton, it's in Hamilton's favour. He won. That was his first win here. He does very well here. He's got pole position here before, race wins here before. So again, that's more on Hamilton. It's like the pendulum has swung into Hamilton's favour. Now everyone's criticising Rosberg, and the pressure might get to him. And this is what me and Elsie have been saying about obviously about Hamilton being under the caution, about Rosberg winning the first 4 races. Now it's like Hamilton's right, I'm back. Rosberg can't cope with the pressure and stuff. So I think it will be very, very exciting to see about what unfolds in this race, where Rosberg can get pole, Hamilton can get pole. I mean, I think it's going to be a very interesting race. But obviously, let's not forget the obviously the Ferraris and Red Bulls as well, who can throw up a bit of a surprise. So, what do you think Rosberg's chances are in this race? Do you think that he can do well? Do you think he can get pole and win, or do you think Hamilton will just maybe just creep up and sorry Rosberg, this is my circuit?
Hamilton loves this circuit, and I'm really backing him. It's kind of strange how I moved between them, because I was backing Rosberg at the start of the year, saying that it was his time. Rosberg's leading Hamilton, which he'll feel amazing behind. On that note, I'm not sure who the team will put, who they'll put first. Rosberg because he's leading, or Hamilton because he's the reigning world champion. Rosberg will definitely bring the fight, and that's what we like to see as Formula One fans, them fighting, them both fighting each other. Now, what I think will happen in this race between those two drivers, I'm hoping Hamilton will come through, but Rosberg will definitely push the fight. It might even be something like Rosberg pole, then Hamilton win. They might even crash. They might even collide with each other again. If there was another Spain, JT, now. It didn't have the outcome that we thought it would do, which obviously that everyone would boil and Toto Wolff would just come out, get a red face and just explode. But they were all mad. They were all blaming each other. Obviously, Niki Lauda blamed Nico. Was very much on Lewis's side. Toto Wolff was almost having on Nico's side, stuff like that. So if they collided again, say like they collided in Canada, what would happen? What would the team finally do?
If they were the kind of game, what? I don't really know, if I'm honest with you. I think, again, media will be straight onto them, like, will Rosberg leave or Hamilton leave? Because we are at the start of the silly season, as you could say, where people are rumoured to go here and there. We're saying that Rosberg might be going to Ferrari. Pascal Wehrlein could replace Lewis Hamilton, who might take a year out. So I really, really don't know. But if they were to do it again, I think the pressure at Mercedes will be will be as big as it's ever been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm really I would like to see it happen, because I'm not really a Mercedes fan, but at the same time I'm like, because I'm British, I do want to see Hamilton do. I want to see Hamilton win. I want to see this, an actual British champion, like what people see, Nigel Mansell and Damon Hill come through. I want to see that. So I think it will be interesting if they do. I really hope they do. I might even put some money on it if they do. So I might get some really good feedback. But anyways, that's less about the Mercedes. I'm going to move quickly on to a team who we really talk about this season, which is I'm going to talk about this. Well, not Williams in particular. A driver that basically felt to be Bottas, who. He's never won this race, but he did get a front row start in 2013, a second row start, shall I say, where obviously the team were absolutely dreadful in 2013. It was probably the worst ever season. And obviously since Williams came up, obviously from a better team, from Renault into Mercedes, they definitely changed fortunes. In 2014, he got 7th, and then last season he got on the podium. So obviously he's improved. The car's doing all right this season. Let's not forget. And the car is reliable, because in the past 2 seasons he's only ever had 1 retirement in each race. So far he hasn't had a retirement. But I believe a race win is due for Valtteri Bottas. Yeah. And what better circuit to come to than this circuit, where I believe he'll do very well on, because obviously he hasn't got a home race.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, and he has proved that just because he did have a very poor car, and he can deliver.
Yeah.
So I believe that this is the perfect race for Valtteri Bottas. Yeah. So do you think this is a good chance for him to win? I mean, obviously it's going to be unrealistic for him to win, because you've got Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes ahead of him. But if they were to drop and the strategy would go out the window, do you think Bottas is the kind of driver to creep up here and maybe take an actual win? Because I believe he's really good at this set.
Yeah, I'd say he could. I think he really could. A podium is incredibly likely. I would put money on that. They have the car, they have the drivers. Obviously, Bottas and Massa, both fantastic drivers. Massa, obviously, remember, crashed in 14, so he'll be definitely out. He definitely out to redeem himself in 15 and then pushing. They have got the car. The skip over last year, obviously, it's probably the same as 2014. Remember when they came third in the Constructors' World Championship? I think they could. I think Bottas is a great driver, and he definitely could get a podium, a win. If the Mercedes took themselves out, like in Spain,
I hope so.
Bottas could sneak through, like Max did. I'm not saying that Max wasn't, didn't earn the win, but Yeah, he could do that. And just to mention that, let's move on to Max and Red Bull. So let's start with Max Verstappen first, before we go on to Daniel and obviously then the whole Red Bull team. Now Max Verstappen wins in Spain, unbelievable. Now, it's almost like we didn't really notice it then. You have to think about it. You think, what an achievement he's done, because not only is he the youngest Formula 1 driver by about 4 years to win a race, he is also the winner in his first ever race with a top team. So he was moved up. I also remember on the podium as well, you had was a Helmut Marko, and he almost had this like funny grin because he was thinking, this is my decision. I've kicked out this guy who was doing, fairly well at Red Bull, 2 podiums. I've kicked him out, and brought in this youngster, and this my premonition has come true. He has won a race.
Yes.
So young, a teenager at 18, which I reckon will never be beaten. I'm sorry for saying this. Even in 2060, when everyone's more advanced, cars more advanced, stuff like that, self-driving. But I reckon Max's record will never be beaten ever, because you just can't imagine a 17-year-old in Formula One. That's wow. That's our legal age to drive. I don't even know about other countries. You might not even be able to drive at that age. I don't think that'll happen. But sorry, I'm going on. Monaco, if you remember with Max, terrible race. He crashed in qualifying and then he crashed in the race. He did that in 15 also in the race.
Yes.
His luck has plummeted. His good luck. He said he had a lack of sleep from his win in Spain, and then that proved well. Get your sleep, guys, because if you don't, you'll crash.
Obviously, sleep is important.
He probably did lose concentration because of his, lack of sleep, dreaming about his bed. So a bad race for him. He will definitely be able to redeem himself. That was a schoolboy error. Him crashing twice in the weekend. That was a schoolboy error and not what people want to see. We saw him win in Spain like a big boy, but then we saw him do a schoolboy error, a Pastor Maldonado, if you like, and then crash at the barriers in Monaco. So he'll definitely be able to redeem himself, Max. His number one, stay in the race, finish the race. Number two, get on the podium. Actually, no, well, yeah, get on the podium. But if he wants to match what he did, not last race, but the race before, then he needs to win. Nothing but a win will suffice Red Bull, Dr. Helmut Marko, and everyone who backed him. Because remember, after Spain, they were on a high, and then after Monaco, they were on a low. And Daniel Fiat was just walking past the Red Bull garage going, I told you so. Told you we'd do bad one day. And then, obviously, the counterpart of Max, Daniel Ricciardo. Now, he was doing incredibly well. First pole, remember, in Monaco. He did a great race, P2. He did a fantastic race to pull back a team error. Now, it was terrible, wasn't it, JT?
It was. Embarrassing, you could say, for a team like Red Bull. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't be fine, obviously, but we'd kind of expect something to happen along the lines of maybe at Manor or even a new team like Haas or Renault, but not Red Bull, not people who have won 4 consecutive World Championships on the bounce, many race wins. Just imagine if they did that with Sebastian Vettel, JT. Do you imagine the amount of swearing they would have got and the amount of kicking and what are we doing here and I'm going home and.
Pretty much, I think it would definitely be spitting his dummy out. Definitely.
Do you think they got in trouble? Do you think they got sat down, all the pit crew, and said, what are you doing, from Dr. Helmut Marko or Dietrich Mateschitz? Do you think they got in trouble?
I would have thought. I think they would have got a slap on the wrist type of thing. Probably like you're going to bed at 7 o'clock tonight, boys. Or maybe extra training this week. I would definitely say.
Oh, yeah, extra pit stops, yeah.
Oh, definitely. But apparently, so it was a technical problem, which a bit of a miscommunication, you could say. Because they didn't know which tyres to go on, to put on Daniel Ricciardo's car, and obviously he's upset. Yeah. But I think now this week, there was a picture of him driving Alan Jones's winning car, a championship winning car.
Smile was back.
So the smiles were back, and then he posted the video on social media, basically, calming the critics down. So I think normal business has resumed at Red Bull. So I think that right, let's forget about Monaco. Let's focus on the next race, because the more we build our frustration over the previous race, it's only going to affect our next races, which will be crucial for them. So I think normal business resumed definitely for Daniel Ricciardo and Red Bull.
Yeah, that would be mad. And the team that we haven't mentioned yet is Ferrari, JT.
Yes.
Now the first driver I want to mention is Sebastian Vettel. He didn't really perform that well. Last year, his first race for Ferrari, in Canada. Obviously, we all remember the 2011 wars for Sebastian. I remember spinning out on the last lap and letting JB come through. More for
That was
him though,
amazing.
and obviously Seb, what it needs to. He needs to get that bad memory out of his head, which will always keep haunting him every time he comes to the track.
Definitely.
So how do you think Seb can do, and then how also do you think Kimi can do, who, by the way, is having a stellar performance, obviously fourth in the World Championship, ahead of his more experienced teammate. He's having a stellar career, a stellar season. So what can he do in this race?
I mean, if you look at Sebastian Vettel, he hasn't really had he's had a good season, but he hasn't had the season he would have expected or wanted. So I mean, obviously it's never too late. Obviously, there's plenty more races to do well. So if Ferrari want to challenge, really challenge for the title of Sebastian Vettel, then I would say now is the time. But a bit of luck is not really on Sebastian's side. He's only won this race once back in 2013. He hasn't won it since. And so this isn't really a track that would suit Vettel. You know what I mean? He hasn't really had that much luck here. So maybe I would say I wouldn't put him as favourite to win the race, but maybe should the Mercedes crash or what I mean, anything were to go wrong, or if they were to be down in form or down in power.
Yeah.
So, which obviously happened in 2014, if you remember, which is how Daniel Ricciardo won his first race.
Yep.
The Mercedes struggled and lost a lot of power, which it could easily happen again. It could easily happen at any race. So, and Vettel will be hoping that it'll be this race, so he can win this race for a second time and actually claw back some championship winning points. As for Kimi Räikkönen, I wouldn't consider him as a championship contender. I just don't think he's a good driver. But I think maybe Vettel's got a bit of that more of a winning mentality because he's been there and done that before. Raikkonen's only done it once, ever since 2008. So it was his winning season 2007. From 2008 onwards, he hasn't really been, I would say the same Kimi Räikkönen as we've seen in the previous, that fighting determination type of guy. So, and obviously he'll need the correct car. I mean, chances of win this race, I would say again a pretty slim, unless something drastic were to happen. I would probably favour Sebastian Vettel more than Kimi Räikkönen to actually win this race. Obviously, the Iceman definitely needs to keep his cool this week, because he has been doing well this season. Obviously, podiums here and there. He hasn't got a race win, unfortunately, this season. I believe he will get one this season. Maybe, and if he wants to, maybe try and kick on a potential push for that championship, then again, like Sebastian Vettel, it needs to be this race.
Yes,
definitely.
Exactly. I can't remember what it was, but in 2015, I remember he span. And he said on the radio exactly the same happened as last year, and I'm not sure what he was talking about there, if it was the engine or the tyres or something like that. Hopefully one of you can tell us, but yeah, it just came to mind there. So the next team we're going to move on to is a team that is definitely improving, and I know JT, obviously you're very much behind the progression of this team. Double points in Monaco, and that is McLaren. Now JB, the British driver, had his best race, and I'm going to say this is his best race ever, better than all the podiums he had, all the race wins he had in his season in Brawn in 2009 when he won the championship. Canada 2011 was his best race ever. He went from the back to the front. He went in every position. He made something like 5 or 6 pit stops on every single set of tyres, slicks and wets. He did everything. He did the whole shebang, and he won the race. Unbelievable, beating the single world champion at that point, Sebastian Vettel. His best race ever. So what can he do on this track, which he will almost have married because he loves it so much, and he would have. You win your best race ever and do so many overtakes. What can JB do on this track?
Hopefully something tremendous to keep McLaren's form good. McLaren here, they tie with Ferrari as the most race winners here of 13 each. So again, that favours the McLaren, but obviously that was times gone past by when the good old days of Mercedes and Honda, whereas now it's a different kettle of fish. So obviously again, McLaren winning the race, very very extremely slim. You've got a better chance of Daniel Ricciardo standing right outside the bottom of my street than McLaren winning the race. So look, there he is now. Hello Daniel.
All right.
Yep, he's doing good. He's got a smile back, guys. But,
you got a smile back because I said hi.
But obviously, and again, Fernando Alonso, very very good driver as well. Putting them together, very very experienced. Giving them a boost in Monaco is definitely going to only further the chances of scoring some more points here. The team I am very scared of right now is Force India, because they got a very very good third and fifth in Monaco. So I'm like, that's the team we're battling for. And right, yes, we've got double points, but now Force India are like creeping up slowly again. So I'm like, oh, I made my big mouth because I wanted Force India to do well, and now I kind of don't anymore. So. Oh dear, but no. In terms of McLaren's chances, I'm looking very optimistic this time. I would say Q2. I would probably say expect from McLaren, both drivers as well. Might get looking going to Q3 with Fernando Alonso again, but I'll probably predict Q2 for my team McLaren. In terms of race. Obviously, it depends how it pans out. You literally can't predict the race. Nobody can. So, I mean, it could literally be fourth and fifth if everybody crashes out, or it could be 13th, 15th. You know what I mean. So it could be. It just depends how the strategy goes, how the car goes, how everything feels. If Jensen Button and Fernando Alonso are up for it. And also the team I just mentioned before, Force India, who are on a very, very good form. They're going to be they're going to be hindering at this race as well. They've got an improved car. They're getting upgrades by the minute. And obviously it'll only make them chances further. So in the midfield, it's getting proper tight along with Toro Rosso in the mix as well. We're not even going to talk about Renault at all because they're just doing appalling, by the way. So I would say McLaren, Force India, and Toro Rosso. That's going to be very, very interesting to see who gets into Q2, who gets into Q3, and who finishes where. And obviously. I'm really, really excited for that. So, LC, what do you think Force India's chances are? I mean, you could say it's kind of Force India versus McLaren, and this versus Toro Rosso, between these two to see who finishes highest. So, out of Force India, Toro Rosso, and McLaren, who do you think will come on top in this race? Do you think is a track that's just McLaren's car? Do you think Force India will do well here, or do you think maybe Toro Rosso will go? Sorry, boys, we're coming through.
This time last year, I would have definitely said Force India. There'd be no doubt about it. Then followed by Toro Rosso and then McLaren. This year, I would say McLaren. And then I think that's the trouble. It's Toro Rosso and Force India. They've both got one driver in the team who is just doing an unbelievable career. Obviously, for Toro Rosso, it's Carlos Sainz, and for Force India, it is Sergio Perez. But don't discount Nico Hülkenberg, though. He has just been incredibly unlucky. He falls foul. He falls over every single hurdle, and I feel for him so much. Obviously, Daniel Kvyat, who's he? But I can't wait to see that fight and what Checo can do after his podium play, and more importantly, JT, winning driver of the day award.
Exactly. That's the most important award of any race. The
most important football. I mean, Formula 1 trophy you can win. But it will be great to see. Those two should form a team, man. Sainz and Checo should form a team. Call it,
good.
Toro India or something like that. Force Rosso.
Force Rosso, Toro India.
We hate Daniel Kvyat Club.
If AJ Mali and Franz Tost are watching this, then come on, guys,
Yeah.
Get us involved as well.
It'd be great to see what they do. Please, Nico, don't have any more problems. I really want to see you do well. Do something great with this season, because there was so many talks. I mean, basically there's been loads of seasons, JT, when he's been talked about moving to teams, moving to Ferrari, because that is his ultimate goal, moving to Ferrari. If you remember Brazil 2012, almost when the race was going on, Lucas de Montezemolo was licking the pen, getting the ink wet ready to sign it. He wrote L, and then he crashed out, and then he scribbled it out. And actually, he wrote his whole name bar one, and then as soon as Hamilton hit him, line through, chuck in the bin, and then that was that. But Nico needs a great race. I think he is one of the few drivers I'll have my eyes glued to. Checo as well. Obviously, his third place was amazing. Carlos Sainz is running unbelievable as well. It's those two drivers for those two teams. But going back to your original question, JT, McLaren are ahead. I think they are ahead. They're performing better than Force India and Toro Rosso. And I think at the end of this season, as their form has been continuing, I think that they could be challenging the likes of maybe Williams, which would be fantastic to see. McLaren, I hope so. I've got hope in them now. Maybe around testing I didn't, but now it's back.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it is going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, obviously, let's not rule out obviously Sauber and Renault, which I've just said before have not had the best of seasons. Sauber. But I mean, could they throw their hat into the ring and battle for the midfield? I mean, I think they're probably more closer to Manor than what they are to. They might as well focus on Manor and Renault. It's like kind of like you've got your top group, which is like your Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, and a little bit of Williams. You could say maybe Williams is like split in half in a way. Half is at the top, half is in midfield, and then obviously you've got your backs with like Racklemann and Sauber and Renault. But no, I mean, obviously we'll briefly talk about them three teams because we'll talk about everybody else so far. Yeah. I mean, chances in them races, no points. That's that was the end of that.
The last
sorry guys, but I mean, out of them teams, Sauber have got a better chance of scoring points. But there's literally nothing more you could say. I'll always be backing Manor.
Yeah.
Because they're the team that came back from the dead. But
resurrection. It's a good trick.
You can't really say Manor would score points at a track like this. No offense, but I'm just being realistic.
Yeah. It's a straight line speed heavy track, and that's unfortunate for teams like Manor that don't have the speed. I was even thinking maybe McLaren, because in 2015 their power unit was unbelievably slow. Monaco, they could get away with it because it's a technical track. But if you remember Suzuki,
it suited their car, like a bit like Singapore. It suited their car in a way.
It did, but obviously you need that speed. If you remember in Japan, which again is I'd say it was more technical, but still, remember on that straight, Fernando Alonso has been overtaken, and best line from the radio was GP2 engine.
We haven't heard that. We haven't heard that from Fernando Alonso this season, but maybe by throw up a couple of radio messages here and there. JT? Hopefully in this race.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, Fernando, give us a bit more entertainment.
The last team to mention, though, I think, in terms of who can challenge for points, is Haas. Now they had a great start. Roman Grosjean won Driver of the Day award. By the way, I'm not even going to count what he did in the race. That's rubbish. He won Driver of the Day award, which is the most important thing in the whole world, isn't it, JT?
It is, obviously. I mean, everybody wants to win it. That's what everyone's racing for. They're not racing to win the race or championship. They want to race. They want to win the F1 Driver of the Day award, F1 Debate Show Driver of the Day award.
And they want to stand in their house, as back garden, and lift the Formula 1 trophy with a bottle of champagne, cheap champagne. We're not supplying the champagne, by the way. You better do that. And you can spray it if you want, but you've got to supply their own champagne. And you got enough, mate?
Nope.
It'll have to be a little bottle, and like one of those ones that you get on the air on the plane. And they could definitely challenge. I hope. Roman Grosjean is in a good form, but I hope they come back. This looks like a track to suit them. As you know, at the moment, the first half of the season, it's their closest race to home, obviously the USA. It's just up the road in Canada, in Montreal. It's the closest one to them, and the third American race of the whole calendar. So, yeah, I'd like to see what they can do. Obviously, they'll be under massive, support. But on the other hand, criticism, because if they do badly, I mean, the sponsors will be there, everyone will be watching them and thinking, oh God. And the original Haas, whatever his first name was, will be watching the race and thinking, I could have done a better job. But hopefully they do.
We do. I mean, obviously, as like you said, it is the closest race to them so far. And obviously they'll be bringing a lot of support, but let's not forget, it's kind of Roman Grosjean's home race, you could say, because, well, in a way, no, but if you think about the language, it's because they speak French over there. Yeah. Obviously, Roman Grosjean's French, so he'll be bringing a lot more support over there. Yeah. So, again, that'll be all right. I mean, Esteban Gutierrez, he's Mexican, he's going into Canada. It's not going to end well, I don't think.
I mean, it's an American race.
But, I don't know any between the Mexicans and the Canadians, but I mean,
So the most important question, JT, top three.
Top three. My top three is going to be, I said, in first place, Lewis Hamilton. Second place, I would say, I don't know. I'm going to go with Sebastian Vettel. And in P3, I would say Nico Rosberg.
I'm going to go Ricciardo.
Oh!
Verstappen.
Red Bull 1-2, controversial.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, I'm not supplying them. And third place, Rosberg.
Biased.
And in that scenario, so let me see, there'd be 10 points clear. So when we worked out, so it'd be 116 points for Nico Rosberg. It would be 189. Oh my God, I'm working out on screen. So Hamilton would get to 106 points, wouldn't he? No, you get 107. No. So that was it. I've got it. So Nico Rosberg would stay at the top with 100 and no wait, it's gone. So it's not 116. It's 15 for third. So it would be 100 and 116, 100, I've got it. 121 points for Nico Rosberg.
Are
And
you
then
sure?
100. Wait, I've lost it. So wait,
Do you know what? Elsie, right? Let the professionals do it. Let them do it, right?
Okay.
Because they
But it'll be
better
on it.
master
Okay.
what you are.
So the so that's it for our Canadian Grand Prix preview. Now please obviously join us for our other videos that will be being brought out. Obviously on Friday we have F1 Debate Show, F1 Decoded, sorry, episode 8, which is the Battle of the Brits, the second time around between John Surtees and Sir Jackie Stewart. On Saturday we have F1 Decoded episode 15, and then the race on Sunday. And it is
F1 debate show. You said F1 decoded.
F1 Debate Show.
F1 debate show episode 15.
Whatever, man. And then the race is on Sunday. Now, it is a late race for us, so we can't promise that we'll get the race review out on Sunday, but it will be coming very soon. We will try.
We'll try.
Yeah, we will try.
So
there's no
expect that either Sunday or Monday.
Before we end this show, JT, I have an announcement to make.
Do you?
I have an announcement. And it makes a tweet because you haven't heard it yet. So, as you all know, guys, we are going to Silverstone, the British Grand Prix in July. And we are going on Thursday, very early on because we obviously live in the north of England, so it takes about 5 hours to get the train down. So we'll get there around midday. And JT obviously knows this, and he knows that we're going to the race.
Yeah.
We'll be going on Friday.
Yes.
What he doesn't know is that myself and JT will be walking the pit lane on Thursday.
Are we?
We are. We have just won VIP pit lane access on the Thursday. So on the Thursday night, JT, we will be walking the pit lane along with some other very lucky fans. Seeing all of the pit crew at work on the night before the biggest event, or one of the biggest events our country has ever seen.
Wow.
And guys, JT, that is his live reaction. I thought it would be better than that, but it's a reaction.
I don't know what to say. Wow, that's amazing.
And that is 100% real.
Oh wow, I want to go now.
So
forget the Canadian Grand Prix, forget the bloody European Grand Prix or the Austrian Grand Prix, but the British Grand Prix has to be this weekend. Guys, I want to go now.
So that was our preview. So we'll have extra content for you on for the Thursday on the pit lane. So obviously, thanks for watching this preview, guys, and we will see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.
See you later, guys.